Peace, family. Peace. We are now live. We are now live. How's everybody doing tonight? How's everybody? A little earlier than usual. I'm a little earlier than usual. I want to see how this pan out on the channel. Do y'all like the earlier shows or y'all like the 9 o'clock shows? Y'all can let me know in the chat. But I got a amazing guest today. I introduced this brother to the channel in January of this year, and we are now in February. And the brother's been going ballistic on his channel. He got some he got some he got some sauce over there. So I had to bring the brother back. I want to get updated on a lot of things going on. I'm about to bring the brother on in a second. Before I do, family, as always, let's get to a couple of commercials and I'll be right back. Make sure you hit that like button, get comfortable, tell your friends and family I'm live, and I'll be right back in a second, family.
Hey there! Had a bad dream? I have dreams too. Some parts are scary and some parts are fun. Always remind yourself, it's only a dream and everything will be okay. I had a dream about being in a forest too. Check it out, my pet Petey was with me. Order your copy of Kayla Petey and the Forest on Amazon today.
It's the numerational session with King Simon. Text your full name and date of birth to 347-496-1022. That's 347-496-1022. And get my books on Amazon now.
Yeah, I guess a lot of y'all is overseas, so a lot of y'all is like the earlier better. I'm reading the comments. Listen, without further ado, my brother BDell, welcome back to the show, my brother.
Appreciate you having me. Appreciate it. Thank you, brother.
Indeed, man. You back in your Merkaba. You back sitting in your Merkaba, brother. And I know you done traveled the astro realm and everything else, man. Listen, BDell, I was telling you I like the video you did the other day on your channel. We was talking about the wrath of Anu and the open vortex. So much going on right now. Parts of the sun falling off and trains being derailed and so-called UFOs in the sky. I mean, trains being derailed, earthquakes happening. People are like, yo, what's happening? I think you got an interesting perspective that I listen to on your channel, my brother. And I'm going to give you the opportunity to tap in with my family and speak your mind. So without further ado, my brother, all the things I mentioned, the video you just did, talk to me a little bit about what's going on and according to the research you have done, my brother.
Well, according to my research, everything is based on predictive analysis because they know that when the sun is at solar maximum, this is where you're going to have a great majority of desolation and calamity on the planet, right? So they know when you're talking about these earthquakes and these volcanic activity, seismic activity, what you got to understand is that physical destruction is galvanized by spiritual energy that's transmuted from the cosmos. So that seismic activity, when you had that earthquake in Turkey, that was on the 33rd parallel, right? So the 33rd parallel is also synonymous to the number that you had 33,000 people killed during that earthquake. So that 33 is also an esoteric and a metaphysical number, which is the personification of a Christ energy. And that Christ energy is the God frequency. And the God frequency is gamma radiation that's coming down from the fourth dimension. So when you have these UFOs in our atmosphere, they're basically terraforming the atmosphere to the point where it can basically dematerialize everything that's in the magnetic field. So this is where the open vortex comes in, right? That fourth dimensional energy comes in. So with the UFOs that we see in our atmosphere, what it does is it manipulates the magnetic field and the electrical grid. So this is why you had that plane that dropped down in Alabama yesterday.
Right.
That's how you have a diametrical difference from a real UFO and a UFO that's being galvanized and facilitated by the aristocracy. So a real UFO has the ability to manipulate the electromagnetic grid, right? UFOs are shooting down, that's all being facilitated by the government. So that's how you know the thing that's manipulating the matrix system that is a real UFO. So that's why I tell people it's very imperative for them to stay off these airplanes. If you want to go somewhere as far as like, on a trip or whatever, it's imperative that you travel, through car, because you don't want to, when the grid shuts down, because the grid is basically acclimated to all technological devices on the planet. So when the grid shuts down, everything shuts down as far as your molecular structure. And also that also applies to nanogenetic mind control when you're talking about these genetically modified foods, when they put these technologies inside of our body. So that's all connected to the grid system. So that's why they, during this time when they know that the sun is at solar maximum, when you're talking about the open vortex, that fourth dimensional energy coming in, what it does is it has the ability to cause a reconfiguration in your mental capacity and in your genetical sequence.
Tell the people what exactly happened with the sun. It was in the beginning of February. Something happened, a piece of the sun. What exactly happened, BDell?
So what that is basically colossal coronal mass ejections. So the reason we having this these concepts of war and things of that nature with China, when you're talking about the spy balloon, they want you. They're trying to perpetuate an EMP attack when really everything is galvanized by CME. So an EMP is really basically the same thing, but it's based on the technological level, because the third eye for the beast is technology. So what they do is they know that when you have an activation of the sun, it has the ability to cause pestilence. It can cause, a malfunction in the in the governmental systems, because everything they do is based on astrological alignments. So that's what I'm saying. As far as like the seismic activity and things in the nature, the cymatic frequencies of the coronal mass ejections is manipulating everything on planet Earth right now. So that's what's going on. So when you're talking about these the UV radiation like spectrum, when it speeds up in vibration, it basically breaks down everything that's connected to the material world.
But they said a vortex opened up with this on the sun. What's that about? That's
the vortex. That is basically the inception point of the purification period of when the fourth dimensional energy is going to be coming in, because we were talking about the plutonium energy on the last time we was talking about. Because that plutonium energy is coming in. So when you have Pluto in Aquarius during after the spring equinox, that is basically the inception point, that vortex to open up on the sun. That's the inception point of when that energy is going to be coming in. That's the gamma radiation that's basically going to put the planet in a state of desolation, because in order to get revitalization, the planet has to go through a state of calamity first.
What does this gamma radiation do to our bodies, our minds, our souls? If it's doing that to the planet, what is it doing to our bodies at this time?
Well, through the law of correspondence, we are a microcosm of the macrocosm. So what it does is it activates the prominences of the etherium realm, right? So it activates the 7 neurological circuits within the brain. So what happens is with the sun, it activates I forgot what sun heat genes, and the sun heat genes basically causes these granulations, because we're basically amalgamated that's connected to everything on the planet through atomic fusion, because carbon is the building block of all civilization. So as the planet is going through a terraforming process, we're going to terraform with the planet also, because we're made of carbon.
Indeed.
So that's basically the same thing as far as like your genetical sequence is being manipulated, just like planet Earth is being manipulated. It has to go through a revitalization process. So if your vibration is not matching with the planet, it can be detrimental for you.
So depending on where your vibration is, you could be experiencing different symptoms.
Yes. So that's why, they trying to create this this anomaly that we have in train derailments. All this is all acclimated to a form of pestilence, because they want to engineer a new form of a shutdown. They want to shut down everything, talking about everybody is getting sick, because that's why they got these toxic waste and everything, and then they're going to blame it on a different pandemic, because World War III is really based on and galvanized by the war with the mind. So when you have a war with the mind, because they know that the fourth dimensional energy is coming in, and that's the mental plane, which is the ethereal plane, which is the God frequency that activates the God body. right? When we were talking about the Holy Ghost particles. And the reason they do that is because they know that God is the highest extension of the mind, which uses elements of matter to express yourself. So when you're able to express yourself mentally, you're able to manipulate the vibration on the planet. So that's what that's basically what's going on right now, because it's basically a war with the mind.
What's happening on the planet right now with this fourth dimensional energy coming through? Is this something that happens frequently, or is this something that hasn't happened in a long time on the planet? What we're witnessing right now?
Well, the planet went through many different destructional phases. So what's happening right now, you have when I'm talking about this open vortex, you had the Philadelphia experiment that happened in 1943. That's when these naval intelligence officers they basically made a naval ship dematerialize in the atmosphere, and it jumped it all the way up to 40 years ahead of time in 1983 in Montauk, New York, when you're talking about the Montauk Project. So with that experiment in itself, it basically manipulated the fragment of time, and it threw off the planet by 3 years, because from 1940 to 50 and 60 and so on and so forth, you had these fourth dimensional portals that opened up naturally on the planet. So now the fragment of time that has been manipulated. So it goes from 1943 to 53 all the way up into 2023 now. So that's why the Galactic Federation, they gave the plutocracy and the oligarchs, they gave them the technology to build CERN, because CERN was originally made to put the planet right back in balance. So, but they use it for devilishment when they open up these portals, so they can have archonic energy come to the planet to basically have some type of self-preservation in the three-dimensional paradigm, because they want the matrix system to keep going.
So let me ask you this, BDell. If the Galactic Federation gave them the technology of CERN, we all know who this devil is that we deal with on a consistent basis in this realm. You mean to tell me they didn't know that they was going to get tricked by these folks, that the parasitic elite? They really thought the devil was going to use CERN for the better of humanity?
I mean, I'm pretty sure they pretty much, gave them a chance, but everybody, we have, free will to do,
Yeah.
do what's right.
I'm just joking. Because
Right,
I'm like that. I'm like, but wow, I heard, let me see something real quick, BDell. I heard, didn't CERN just turn on the machine and something happened? Like, let me see if I see Sarah. No, I thought I read an article that said CERN recently. Let me just give me 1 second. While I'm doing this, hold up, y'all. Okay, no. All right. Yeah, I was just checking. I want to make sure something, y'all. All right. So what now? This, I mean, just like the last time you got on here, when you get on the show, you take off running, brother, and you don't waste no time, and you get right to it. And I appreciate that. That makes it, information is good. You make information very interesting, and that's important for our people to be and not be boring to our people. Our people, we're in this era of being stimulated by everything. So I feel as though the way you present information makes people want to tune in and listen. They don't have to tune into the garbage. They could get stimulated by this amazing cosmic information that you present to the people. So I appreciate that, my brother. I want to talk about now, since you're talking about the Galactic Federation, and I want to talk about the Anunnaki, because you mentioned the Anunnaki on your channel, and somebody else said, I heard a couple of people say, yo, the Anunnaki's returning. Yo, the Anunnaki did this. I'm like, what the Anunnaki got to do with what's going on now? I got to talk to Billy Carson to see what's going on. So talk what's up with the Anunnaki, brother? What they got to do with this?
So the Anunnaki has a lot to do with everything right now. So that's why you're seeing many different UFOs in our atmosphere, right? So this is all, like, I did a video talking about the 7-year tribulation period, because 2023 is the inception point of when everything is supposed to be going through a transitional process, right? Because everything is acclimated to the sun cycle, and the sun cycle is connected to a matriarchal energy. So everything right now, as far as the UFOs, they're terraforming the atmosphere to give the planet right back to the seeds of Enki, who got the birthright stolen from the seeds of Enlil. who is connected to the black nobility. So I just did a video not too long ago talking about the delineation between the fezzes versus feathers. So that's all, basically the indigenous people of the planet versus the black nobility, the blackamoors, who basically stole our birthrights through theological, spiritual systems and things of that nature that's acclimated to the socio-political aspect of civics and things of that nature. So also, when you're talking about these UFOs, these fourth dimensional energies is coming in, that is creating the open vortex to where they can come in from the 19th galaxy, right? Because the inception point of where the Galactic Federation comes from, or the Anunnaki, these Riskians, they come from the 19th galaxy, the 8th planet. So what they're doing is, when you see like red iron oxide clouds in our atmosphere, that is basically a symbology of destruction and calamity, because the planet has to go through a cleansing process. So everything is being reconstructed to go back into its original state. So that's why, a lot of people are not understanding this whole phenomenon about UFOs, because UFOs, they're able to dematerialize and go into fourth octave ether, because they work on an anti-gravity reactor, because it has its own gravitational field. So when you see these UFOs, they're basically terraforming the atmosphere that basically manipulates the magnetic field. The magnetic field depletes the ozone layer, and the ozone layer, that's when you have that fourth dimensional energy coming in. So everything right now that's taking place is based on the sun cycle, because everything that was galvanized by the matrix system, by the oligarchs, happened during the Piscean age under a Saturnian energy.
So the UFOs are basically causing what they call global warming. Is that what they said?
Yeah. This, because it's like I said, because it has the ability to manipulate the grid. So the grid is based on a magneto-hydrodynamic photon holographic reality. So the photons is what is created by subatomic particles that are cube shaped. So what it's doing is basically dematerializing the atmosphere to where you can have this heat come down and terraform everything on the planet. So that's where you get your whole concept of global warming. So because it's that fourth dimensional energy coming in.
BDell, this shit sound like a sci-fi movie, man. This is some wild, interesting shit. I ain't gonna lie to you. This is some wild, interesting information, and wow, it sounds like a sci-fi movie, my brother. So you said that what's up with so much talk about Inky and Lil from a lot of people in the YouTube community as of the last couple of years. What's up with them now? Where they at now? If the Galactic Federation wants to return the planet back to the seeds of Inky, where's Inky and where's Enlil at this present moment?
Well,
is that a collective consciousness? I'm like, what is that exactly?
Well, the seeds of Enlil, well, the best way I can explain it, well, the seeds of Enlil, you can tell who they are. They put themselves in governmental systems. They control any form of monotheistic religion. They're inside organizations, the Boule Society, and things of that nature. So Enlil himself, he came down, I think it was like in the 1980s or whatever. There's a publication that's been put out talking about how he came down and he was worshipped inside this village and things of that nature. As far as Inky is not on the planet, because there's this god that they call him King Yahweh. But when you understand the etymology of the tetragrammaton, Yahweh means agreeable and disagreeable. Inky would never call himself Yahweh. That's a term for Enlil. So that's the difference between the two, because it means agreeable and disagreeable, half Anunnaki, half Draconian reptilian.
Very, very interesting. Very interesting. I asked this to a couple of my guests, and I like to hear different perspectives on it, because there's such a phenomenon happen with everybody. And I don't think I asked you this the first time that I asked you about the ringing in the ears, because that's like happening at an all-time high right now.
You asked me that the last time.
What did you say? I forgot. What did you say, my brother?
What I said was, it's basically kind of like it's like a signal. It's like a phone. It's like a phone call trying to signal you in. So, and when you get a lot of ringing in the ears, the best thing to do is to meditate, to receive that energy. So it's kind of like when you a lot of people don't reap the benefits of their prayers and things of that nature, is because when they pray, you put your affirmations and your blessings out in the ethers. You're supposed to meditate to receive the energy. That's the difference. So when you get these ringing in the ears, you're basically trying to channel in a message. You're supposed to be in a state of meditation to receive that fourth and fifth dimensional energy that's trying to, channel in with you.
When I was young, and I want to salute you. You a young brother bringing this information, so you're younger than me. But when I was young and television ruled the world, it wasn't the internet. They used to disrupt the television program, and they used to say, "This is a test from the emergency broadcasting center," and then it would go, and that sounds like the shit in our ears. So, do you think that was a form of programming when they used to play that on television? Do you think that's a form of programming? Because it sounds like what a lot of people's hearing in the ear.
Yeah, because they know, especially when it comes to so-called black people, they know that the octave vibration in the frequency has a certain cymatic, and it's acclimated to the carbon, and carbon is a derivative of graphene, which is connected to melamine formaldehyde, so it's able to absorb all those frequencies to where this is how intelligent melanin or carbon is. It's able to become acclimated to anything, whether it's positive or negative. It's kind of like, you ever seen the movie Meteor Man?
Yes.
Remember when he was able to galvanize his metaphysical powers? When he touched that comet, anything that he touched, that became acclimated to his characteristics of who he was as a superhero, whether if it was positive or negative. He'd touch a book and he absorb all the information. So that's what the same thing does when it comes to these sound wave frequencies. It becomes acclimated to who we are, whether it's positive or negative. It can basically terraform the melanocytes in our molecular structure.
Indeed. So, how I'm not gonna, when 2020 hit and that thing broke out, and I'm not gonna say the name because they were shutting everybody's channel down. But you know what I mean. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. Another conversation that was happening simultaneously was the 5G conversation, and they was shutting people down for that as well. But and then a lot of conscious folks were saying how 5G was going to mess us up a lot. Now, is 5G, say we go to 6G, 7G, 8G, is that the same way with our melanin, where our melanin will adapt to wherever the technology goes, no matter how bad it is for us, our melanin will adapt and it will actually start to benefit us more than it will start to hurt us because of our melanin? And that example you gave with Meteor Man?
It depends on if you have any type of nanogenetic mind control that's inside, your neurological capacity. So what it's able to do is, when you have these 5G frequencies, when it's able to, when they intensify it, and you have these, basic these metals inside your molecular structure, what it's able to do is, this is where you get this concept of zombification. So when you have nanogenetic mind control stem or receivers inside your body from genetically modified foods, or whether you take in the Jabberwocky, I call it the draconian juice. So what it's able to do is, when you have these 5G frequencies, it becomes acclimated to those metals to where it can basically take over your avatar. So now while at the same time, when you have these fourth dimensional energies coming in, when you have the UV radiation light spectrum speeds up in vibration and it activates the sun, what it does is it breaks down those metals inside your brain capacity and inside your molecular structure. So this, like I said, it coincides with zombification, because they know at the time of when the sun is at solar maximum around 2025, they know that we're going to have another form of pestilence again, when you're talking about the what.
Yeah.
So what happens is the nanotechnology that's connected to the 5G frequency, it dematerializes the two frontal lobes of the brain, and it puts a strain on the hypothalamus gland, which activates the frequency of hunger. So that's why they said that in 2025, the pole shift can activate cannibalism.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whoa. Wow, man. So in terms of let's talk about in terms of sun, the amount of sun we're getting at this time. Do you think that's probably the most important thing we should be engaging in right now, is sun activity and getting as much sunlight as possible?
Yeah, most definitely, because the more sun you get, like I said, it causes a reconfiguration. Because I think in my last video, I was telling people how you got many different forms of intrinsic metals. So even if you bend a metal out of shape, when it's acclimated to intrinsic solar radiation or just heat in general, what it's able to do is able to reconstruct back into its original form. So the same thing happens to our molecular structure, because we have every element inside of our body. When you're talking about the periodic table, we have all these, monatomic gold, intrinsic metals. It's all inside of our molecular structure. So this is where you have the unraveling of the junk DNA. It's basically the same concept. So you're supposed to get as much heat as possible when you're out in the sun.
Indeed.
Absorb all that solar radiation. Because the reason I say that also is also connected to the fact that everything right now is being manipulated in a form of biochemical warfare. So it's going to be to a point where you're going to have to perform ultra fast internal conversion, to where you're going to have to transmute yourself by being a breatharian. I don't know if everybody's ready for that whole concept yet, but it's going to get there one day, to where you're not going to be able to eat or drink anything, because everything is basically going to be compromised for biochemical warfare. Because I told you the wars with the mind, because we entering the mental plane, the ethereal plane, the fourth dimension.
Now, you mentioned the Galactic Federation, and people hear that term, but I want you to let us know, who does that comprise of? It sounds like an amazing name, but who exactly? We hear the Anunnaki, but the Galactic Federation sounds like a group. So who is this group running around making all these decisions, terraforming the skies and this and that? Who are these people?
Well, you have Riskians, and then you also have some of the Yagigi. You got the Dogons. That was when you're talking about the Dogon tribe of Mali, who taught them how to map out the stars way before NASA was created. You also have Andromedans. You got some good ones of those. You have Anunnaki, and then you have you got some Nubarians. Then you also have some Xylanthians. You got many different. It's an amalgamation of many different extraterrestrial groups that basically work with the Galactic Federation. But the inception point of it all is galvanized by the Riskians. You also got Lyrans. The Lyrans are the cat people, so that's why you got the Sphinx in Egypt, which is also in alignment with the Leo star constellation as well. So
the Sphinx is from the Lyrians?
Yeah.
So why did they put that here? Why did they put that there, the Sphinx?
Well, because they know that, I'm saying, like, the cats are they're able to look inside two different dimensional realities at the same time. They can be in the three-dimensional state in the physical, but they're able to be in the fourth dimension as well, just based upon the construction of the frequency of their eyes, because they have the same eye construction as a reptile. So like I said, you have as far as on the disagreeable side, you have Draconians. Then when I'm talking about the Majestic 12, you got Draconians. Then you have Pleiadians, and then you have Greys, and then you got Draconian Greys. So you got many different species of extraterrestrial races right now that's fighting over the planet. And then you got extraterrestrials inside. When you're talking about the Dayros, who are detrimental robotoids, then you got Teros, and then you also have the Shiyuk and the Danakil tribe, who live inside the planet. That's where Yaqub comes from when you're talking about Jacob of the Bible.
So how do this group that was okay? You gonna make people do a lot of research tonight, BDell, for real. You're gonna have me looking up Lyrians and this and that.
Michael Jackson been putting it in our faces for a long time. Because a lot of the Galactic Federation, they got two different forms. They can basically dematerialize and shapeshift into a cat. I think it was Remember the Time. Michael Jackson did that. Because a lot of the Egyptian pharaohs during that time, there's a lot of anomalies and stuff.
So they use cats to spy on this dimension. You know how like we send robots to Mars and all this rovers and shit like that. That's what they use cats for. Like the cat is down here and they're looking through the cat. Like, okay, is that what they're doing? Because that's just what.
It's a possibility. Because because they're able to live on two different dimensional planes based upon the construction of the eyeball.
Wow. You mess with cats? You got a cat, brother?
No, I don't have any cats.
Okay. Wow, man. Yeah, cats are like spies. Yeah, they like spies for extra dimension. Wow, that's we got to wow. Like I said, we gonna be doing a lot of research after this, y'all. So
Mhm.
what races are these people, the Riskians and this one and the Grays? Are they brothers and sisters? Are there some that are like I see some that are like blonde hair, blue eyes? You see these gray beings. Is that all fantasy, or are these like brothers and sisters up there when you talk about all these different groups?
Well, the vast majority of them are melanated,
Uh,
but you also got many different groups that that stem from them, because when you understand microbiology and genealogy, you get the recessive from the dominant. You don't get the dominant from the recessive. So all these extraterrestrial races are a derivative of the carbonated, melanated Anunnaki beings. So, like I said, you got some. Matter of fact, there's a video on my page. It was a guy who died, and he went into the ethers, and he was shown these beings. He said the great majority of them are black people, and they were the ones in control of the ones. It's kind of like when you look at the hieroglyphics in Samaria, or you look at the hieroglyphics in Egypt, when you had the cat head people, then you got the bird head people. He was saying that there's a lot of them that have the same configuration, and they got the humanoid animals, but they're all being galvanized by a certain group of black extraterrestrials.
You know, I heard I was on Instagram and on one of some Instagram posts was saying that the '90s movie about the Coneheads. Remember the Coneheads? They
Mhm.
said that's actually based on a extraterrestrial group. Have you ever heard anything about that? The Coneheads?
Yeah, they call the Sini tribe. They live.
Sini?
They yeah, the Sini tribe. You got the
Okay.
Sini tribe that lives inside the planet, and they're basically the police force of the Dayros, because the Dayros was grafted out of the Tayros. The Sini and the Tayro are basically the same thing. They just got two different nomenclature titles. So the Tayro are actually the conehead beings, and that's Yaqub's mother, Jacob of the Bible. His mother was a conehead being.
Yakub's mother was a Conehead.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, that's why they call him the big head scientist.
yeah. But his father also had a big, massive head. So when you look at those structures, those monolithic structures and stuff like that, when you look at the skulls, they show you with elongated skulls, and they show you with skulls that look like it had two brains inside of it. He comes from the Danakil tribe, his father.
Mm.
So his father amalgamated with a Taro woman, and that's how he was born.
Right, indeed, indeed. Wow, wow. So, wow, this is like shout out to everybody listening. We got almost 3,000 people in the digital building right now. Today's not going to be a long show, y'all, because I got a Patreon interview with Dr. Phil Valentine tonight. So if you are a Patreon member, a new Dr. Phil Valentine interview. We're not going to do it live, but I will upload it late tonight. So by tomorrow morning, if you're a Patreon, and Phil's going to be talking about a lot of the current events as well. You know, Phil know a lot about. There's so many different angles to this and things going on all at once that gotta talk to a lot of people and see what's going on. So if you're a Patreon member, a new Phil Valentine video will be up by tomorrow morning or late tonight if you happen to be up late tonight. So that's why I did this show early, y'all. I usually don't do the shows early, but that's why I did the show early. And I definitely appreciate. I called the brother BDell last minute, but I really appreciate, and I want to say this while the people see, I show you this behind the scenes, your seriousness and your dedication to this work. You a younger brother, and I feel like you full of energy. You're a young bull, like how they used to call Meek Mill a young bull. You the young
Right,
bull out here running wild. So I appreciate your young bull energy and just keep it up, brother. So I want to give you the opportunity to be on the channel and deliver this message to the people. I guess I'm gonna take questions a little earlier than what I do.
right. That's cool.
How to become a patron? You got to go to patreon.com/blackmagic363. What's your channel? Let's start out with that question. What's your channel, B
Uh,
Dell?
my channel is D as in dog, ELL 1014, BDell 1014. It's the same as the nomenclature title at the bottom on the left.
Yeah,
BDell
yeah, same.
1014.
Uh-huh. A lot of people I see, a couple of people they're trying to criticize you, saying that your information is Dr. York information. I don't think there's nothing wrong with him studying Dr. York. I studied Bobby Hemmett. I studied Phil Valentine.
So
I
what I do
study
is I study. what I do is I study, as I call it, many people, a part of, the conscious community and stuff, they call it the science of circumology. You study all perspectives and you get your own interpretation, and then that's how you receive, your own edification. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I do.
That's exactly what I do, brother. I study so many, as y'all see, I interview so many different people on the show, thousands of different perspectives, and I form my own perspective based on my internal studying and based on just conversating with other souls in this realm. And I think that's how you're supposed to do it. Let's get to the next question. Okay, somebody says, why do they keep saying Anunnaki is the bad guys?
The reason they say that Anunnakis are the bad guys, because it's kind of like the same concept when you look at these superhero movies, right? They make the superheroes are actually the bad people, the people who are coming back to revitalize the planet in a form of destruction. They're actually the good guys, because everything that was galvanized, by because when you look at the inception point of the these superheroes, they actually working with the governmental system. Superman, Batman, all these people. So it's the same concept. So the Anunnaki are actually, the so-called black people. So that also coincides with Thanos, because when you also break down the etymology of the word Anu, which is Elion, L, or Eli, his galactic name is Theos. Theos and Thanos is the same thing. So that's why I said the wrath of Anu is based on the new energies that's coming in to put the planet in the state of calamity, to where the planet is able to revitalize itself again, based on natural balance.
You answered my question. I was about to ask you, so who in mythology would Thanos be symbolic to? And you said Anu.
Yeah. Yep, it's Anu. His galactic name is Theos. Theos.
And the whole philosophy, the mindset of Thanos cleaning the planet, that will be what Anu will want to do right now.
Exactly. That's why I said the UFOs are terraforming the atmosphere. So when it manipulates the magnetic field, it's able for that 4-dimensional energy to come in right before you have that great solar flash. It's going to be happening.
Do you? I mean, have you seen UFOs? Number one, and if you do you attempt to communicate with them, my brother?
I've seen one before, but I've tried to, like they said that the only way you can really communicate with one is if you use like telepathic ability and stuff. But I tried my best to do something, it didn't work out for me. Yeah,
because that's the
UFO in my atmosphere around where I was living at one point in time on my way to work.
Indeed. Somebody is asking, where's this at? Where did it go? Did the Anunnaki create O positive / negative blood type?
I know the great majority, because I know that's connected to the original people. So I know that before the bloodlines and everything was tainted with genetic splicing and things of that nature, the inception point of that bloodline was all O negative and O positive.
Could BDell speak on the return of Tiamat?
You should. Well, Tiamat is basically the return of Tiamat. Well, basically, when you're talking about the return of Tiamat, you were really talking about the planet going back into its original balance. So the original balance is based on the personification of the sun, which is the masculine energy, amalgamating with the mother energy, which is planet Earth. So when they're basically amalgamating together, that puts the planet right back in balance due to the solar radiation that's reconstructing everything, on the planet, because they know that we in the sun cycle, and the sun cycle is conducive to nature, and nature is conducive to natural law that coincides with the natural people of the planet. So that's what Tiamat is basically another term for planet Earth. It's the same thing.
Indeed. Next question: who are the Ritskians?
The Ritskians are another galactic name for the Anunnaki, and the word Rizq means to provide. And they come from, like I said, it's the 8th planet in the 19th galaxy. So a Rizkian is a person from planet Rizq, who is basically another term for the Anunnaki, because when you break down the etymological roots of the word Anunnaki, it means those sit by Anu to Ki. Ki means Kai, Kai means planet Earth. So when you look at the geometrical symbol inside the Freemasonic symbol, the G means geo means key. So it's basically the geometrics of planet Earth. That's the mathematics behind it.
You said the Riskians are from the 19th galaxy. What galaxy are we currently in right now? What's the number of our galaxy?
I think it's the 18th galaxy. This is the Earth zone.
This is the Earth zone, 18th galaxy.
Yeah.
So tell me what else is popping with the 19th galaxy, because that seems to be very important with a lot of people. So what's happening in the 19th galaxy?
The 19th galaxy is really just like the bosom of Anu, but that's like the seventh dimension. That's where you're talking about your symbology of the heaven. That's where the heavens is at.
Oh, in the 19th galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
So do a lot of people go there when they pass away? Do they go back to the 19th galaxy?
I'm not sure. It depends. It depends on what your frequency is like. It depends if you don't have an encryption on your molecular structure or in your mental capacity, because a lot of people, I say a great majority of people, are trapped on this planet just based upon the frequency of their mind and the way they think and the way they conform to certain theological contexts, or if they conform to a certain program that's acclimated to the matrix system. So they're trapped on this magnetic field. So I don't know.
You know, one of the things that people used to do to try to throw me off my quest for knowledge when I was young, I'm like 21, 22. A lot of people would say, well, how is that going to help you? That's one of the famous, well, how's that going to help now? How is that going to help? What's interesting is that this knowledge is not just to help you in this life, but it's also to prepare you for the afterlife.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what a lot of people don't understand. Like, there's certain places you could go, or certain places you could get stuck if you're not on a certain frequency, like you say.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's an important point to let people know, like, yo, preparing for the afterlife, and that's something Brother Panic talks about, is very important.
Mm-hmm.
Talk a little bit about that, preparing for the afterlife in this lifetime.
That's why it's imperative to to have some type of knowledge to about what's going on, because you have these things called the hexahedrons, the hexahedron cube of Saturn. So what it does is everything is galvanized by the subatomic particles. So it basically, everything they do in their system, it basically puts an encryption on your mental capacity, and it puts an encryption on who you are to where you're trapped in this physical body. So in order to deviate from the physical body to where you have access to galactic travel, to where you can leave the firmament, you have to raise up your mental frequency. So this is why they say they don't want you to think outside the box, because the box, the material world, and the material world is galvanized by the Saturn Moon matrix. So that, like I said, so when you think outside the box, because you have some type of intuitive knowledge, that's when you're able to, deviate from this planet.
Indeed.
Off is based on the frequency of the mind.
Okay. All right. Let's get to the next question. Once again, shout out to everybody. We got about 3,200 people. I got an early show today because I'm not going to be on here long. I got an interview with Dr. Valentine on my Patreon later, so we're going to do probably about 15 more minutes on here. But I appreciate everybody for tuning in. I will have the brother on again soon, so I appreciate the brother for coming on last minute. Let's get to the next question. Okay. Do you know, somebody wants to know, who are the blue avians? Do you know who the blue avians are?
Yeah, I know the blue avians are. I think that's also connected to Hootie or Thoth or whatever, but I haven't really did any type of deep research on the blue avians. But the blue avians, that's where you get the hieroglyphic symbol of the bird of Tahuti. He's also connected to the blue avians.
Indeed. Somebody wants to know, what about God within us? It's a broad question. Yeah.
Well, the God within you is your life source, right? So, like I said, it's kind of like one of those things when you go to some theological context. You talking about Psalms 82 verse 6. It says that ye are gods. So ye are gods because we have the ability to create. We have the ability to create based upon the octave vibration of our voice, because our vocal cords is basically a direct emulation of a vagina, a yoni portal. So it's the same way how you can create with your voice box, you could also create through the portal of your vagina hole at the same time. So they both, they both work in symbiotic connection. We're able to create just based upon, like I said, the frequency of our mind. You got to be tapped into the source within you. It's the same thing.
Indeed. Wow. What about, have you got into the study? When you meditate a lot, people who practice qigong, I know Wayne Chandler, they usually say to put your tongue on the roof of your mouth. Have you ever investigated that science and why people would say that, and what does that have to do? What does that do during meditation?
Well, I remember I think it was like my freshman year of college. I remember reading this book. They say that there's a ball underneath the roof of your mouth, and it's supposed to activate the Kundalini energy within you when you especially when you're doing like tantric sex or yoga and stuff like that. When you're doing stuff like that, it activates a certain cymatic frequency to where the Kundalini energy travels up the spine and it goes into the third and fourth ventricle of the brain to where you can activate that God mind. So, I mean, I've never done it before. I've never, reaped the benefits of reaching that level, but, I've tried through meditation before.
So let me ask you this now. This Kundalini energy, and they say that the melanated man and woman is the Kundalini people of the planet. Do the Galactic Federation, do the extraterrestrials have this Kundalini energy? Or is this everybody has this they have this Kundalini energy?
Not everybody.
Okay.
Because the reason I say that, you have a certain demographic of people on the planet. You get a transliteration of the Book of Revelations because the 1611 AD is a mistranslation. You go to Revelation 17:17, it tells you that the evil reptilian gave power to the beast. So you have a certain demographic of people that's connected to the Canaanite bloodline, the Amorite, the house of Labana. They're connected to the beast frequency because they have the same genetical sequence as animals. So when you have recessive genetics, right, you're not able to reap the benefits of a Kundalini activation because it's not acclimated to your endocrine system. Because that's why they stop at 33 degrees in Freemasonry, because the 33rd vertebrae is synonymous to the fifth. I think it's the fifth chakra or whatever. I think whatever is synonymous to the 33rd vertebrae. They cannot activate anything after the fifth sense. That's because, like I said, for one, when you have recessive genetical properties, that basically puts an encryption on your heart chakra. Because you have a certain demographic when they have their heart chakra, the thymus gland is depleted from anywhere from 7 to 13 years old. So the thymus gland is connected to the energy of the heart chakra. So it basically, when you don't have the thymus gland, it steals electrons from from your source, your soul, because the heart is the seat of the soul.
Wow.
So when you don't have a soul, you don't have a symbiotic connection to the planet. So that's why everything they do in their system basically goes against nature, because they're not of nature.
Wow. Woo, there's some deep stuff, right, y'all? Yeah, there's some powerful stuff. I'm feeling the energy right now, y'all. Let's get to the next question. And there's plenty of them in the chat. Ooh, you got the people going off. There's plenty of them in the chat. Somebody says, is there an Anunnaki presence in the South Pole?
I'm not sure, but I know there's an Anunnaki presence beyond the ice wall, and there's a door, there's a metaphysical door that's outside the ice wall, to where you're not able to breach the firmament. You have to be vibrating at a certain frequency in order to get through that fermented door. There's like an actual door beyond right in the Antarctica.
Like literally,
there's a door. Yeah. Where you have galactic ice. It's made of liquid nitrogen and things of that nature. So you're not able to infiltrate it. And because you have to have a certain molecular structure to even go inside that portal. Because it's kind of like the same thing how spaceships and airplanes, not airplanes, but spaceships, it needs to be coated with melanin for interstellar travel. So it's kind of like the same thing. So that's why you ever seen the movie Lovecraft Country, they needed the black woman in order to activate the portal.
Right.
So in order to activate certain portals, you need a certain genetical sequence. You need a certain people's genetics. This is why you have to wonder and ask the question why you have so many black women come up missing on the planet so much.
Right.
Do they need these genetics to infiltrate the firmament? Because
They
trying to leave, they trying to escape calamity because they know these fourth dimensional energies is coming in.
They got because they tell us it's sex trafficking, but it's probably bigger than that. You're saying?
Oh yeah, it's most definitely because they know that the black woman's stem cells, well, the frequency of her menstrual blood has a lot of stem cells because the stem cells is what connects you to immortalized cell lines to where the cells is able to replicate, infinity, like Henrietta Lacks and things of that nature.
Yes, so the black woman got the top technology on the planet.
Most definitely. Yep.
Powerful. Wow. All right, let's continue, man. Y'all, I know. Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. Give it up tonight. Give it up tonight. I'm smiling because I'll be happy when I'm able to produce shit like this, y'all. When I bring, you know what I mean? I just follow my spirit. My spirit said, man, you got to get BDell to break this shit down. I was like, I'm gonna call BDell. I called you at like 11 o'clock last night or something like that.
Man, I was dead asleep because I work. Unfortunately, you know what I'm saying, I'm working. I work third shift and stuff, and I'm full-time dad. So you called me to crack and sleep. I was cool because I had to get up anyway. So it was cool.
All right. So yeah, I'm happy that this we were able to do this. Somebody wants to know, so when blacks mix their race, can their off seeds reach Kundalini? I guess biracial, I guess
Yes, because well, the woman is already born with her potential children. It's inside the ovate cell. So the woman, holds that frequency and that power. So it really doesn't matter if you amalgamate with a different race. If you deviate it out to a different race and you have mixed children, they're still able to reap the benefits of a certain metaphysical ability.
Next question. What is the best way to harness? You okay? You want a break, brother? You okay?
No, I'm good.
Okay, I just want to make. Sometime I'll be needing a water break. Sometime myself, and when you spin like how you spin, you may need a water break, my brother. So, I want to make sure you good, my brother. I want to make sure you good.
I'm straight.
What is the best way to harness more Kundalini energy? They want to know.
Semen retention. Stop watching pornography. Because like I said, when you watch pornography, it steals electrons from the soul. Stop, listen to love music. You know what I'm saying? Listen to R&B music. You know what I'm saying? I understand how, the great majority of our people, we like to be entertained, but you also want to have a certain type of balance. Use that balance, listen to some neo soul music. If you want to, that's how you raise up your vibrational frequency, semen retention, and listen to some really good music. I go to sleep sometimes. I listen to jazz music. I have it playing lightly in the background while I'm sleeping, or I listen to some classical music because it helps create more neurons in the brain.
Let me ask you your thoughts on this. So I got a couple of brothers that came on here and was teaching telling the brothers to practice semen retention more. Wayne Chandler. I just had his brother Kulu, I think the brother name is you, as well as other brothers come on here and talk about the importance of semen retention. But what you notice is that the cultures or the groups or organizations that practice so-called, they say they practice semen retention, like let's say the Catholic priest or something, they end up being big time freaks. So it's like, does that shit drive you crazy if you don't let that shit out? Because these groups that be like, oh, we don't have sex, they end up being the biggest pedophiles on the planet. So it's like, is that you? Do you think that's a little dangerous not to let that shit out, brother?
It depends, but like I said, some people, that's based on who they are, based upon their genetical sequence. Some people are deviants by nature. So like I said, it's we didn't have all these things that was manipulating us. We didn't have the television networking system. We didn't have all this propagation and everything as far as the rap music and stuff, and telling us to lay with this one, lay with that one, or watch pornography. But as far as the Catholic priest, I'm saying, I don't know.
Let's get to the next question. Shape shifting. What's your thoughts on that, my brother? Shape shifting.
Shapeshifting is very real. So this is why, like I said, when you have the UV radiation light spectrum, when it speeds up in vibration, what happens is it activates the spiritual eye, also the two physical eyes. So this is why, you know, they want to hit people with the draconian juice or the Jabberwocky, because the Jabberwocky basically dematerializes the spiritual eye. So this is why, you know, a lot of people, kind of like what Credo Mutwa said. Credo Mutwa said that you're able to, when you go into the fourth dimension, you will be able to see many different shapeshifters and entities. But that's why they want to hit you with Jabberwockies and Draconian juice, because it shuts down the metaphysical eye. Because they know that when a planet speeds up in vibration, you know what I'm saying, it basically decimates the illusion.
Indeed. Okay.
So in order to keep you sleep and docile to where you're not able to decipher what's going on, that's what they do. They basically use the draconian juice in order to, you know, combat that type of energy.
We're gonna do 2 more questions, and I gotta get out of here, family.
Okay.
What you think of free energy through Tesla's work?
It's a possibility, but like I said, he's kind of, in my opinion, I think he's one of those people that's like very neutral. I haven't really did any research on Nicholas, you know, Tesla's work, but I know that, you know, the inception point of his work was based upon the metaphysical essence of vortex mathematics, the 3, 6, and the 9. So that's the only thing I know about his work as far as like opening up portals and the key to the universe, which is basically man, woman, and child, the black man, the black woman, infinite energy. So I don't really haven't really did his any research on his information when it comes to free energy.
Okay. And let's get to one last question. Let me see. I'm trying to. Well, let's just ask this. They want to know. I'm seeing more comments than questions right now. They want to know what do you think about polygamous relationships? What's your thoughts on that, my brother?
Well, polygamy in itself is the inception point is based on a matriarchal energy, right? So that's how you build nations. Polygamy is really for nation building. It's not because you want to have some type of sexual proclivities, or you have some type of sexual gratification that you want to embark on. So it's really meant for nation building. That's what the inception point of it, you know, as far as polygamy is for. So if people did it the right way, we'd be able to combat, you know, economic disenfranchisement and dehumanization that's being perpetuated by the system.
Let me just ask this other one. Damn, where is it at? Do you have any info on Ophiuchus or are you able to see that on the screen?
Yeah, I can see it.
All right, yeah. Do you have any info on that? Ophiuchus or whatever that says?
No, I don't.
Okay. Yeah, he doesn't have info on that, family. Let's see if we get yeah, we already talked about the has well for those who came in late, just to reiterate real quick, they want to know the 4 UFOs shot down and the 4 hazmat spills. What's your thoughts? Just to close it out, because we got about 3,500 people and a lot of them came in late. So
okay, well, as far as like the, you know, biochemical warfare, I told you the World War III is based on dematerializing the God mind. The war is with the mind. It's not really a war with your, you know, so-called China and things of that nature. So they trying to create desolation and calamity on purpose. Because like I said, they know that God is the highest extension of the mind, which uses elements of matter to express itself, where you can manipulate the matrix system based upon your mental frequency. So now as far as the UFOs, like I said, there's a dimensional difference between a real UFO that's created by the oligarchs and the world governments, and you have a UFO that's coming from different dimensions and different galaxies and star systems. Now, the UFOs that's from different star systems, those are the ones that's manipulating the electromagnetic grid on the planet, you know, that's basically terraforming the magnetic field to where you have these fourth dimensional energies that's able to come in. The UFOs that's being shot down, those are all, created by the government. Because if you want to be, very logical and analytical about the situation, you're not going to be able to shoot down a UFO that's able to transmute itself and go into fourth octave ether. You know what I'm saying? Like because that's high technology.
Yeah.
They got technology that's 100,000 years ahead of us. They got elements. They got 200,000 more elements that's not even acclimated to the Earth paradigm. You see what I'm saying?
Indeed.
So that's why I said they would, because they use element 115, which is a superconductor of carbon. So that's how they use the cloaking technology, because the cloaking technology is based on the usurpation of the electrical grid. So that's why you have certain places where they be like, oh, well, the technology and the phone towers is not working in this area. That's because the grid is being manipulated from the usurpation of the ship that's basically cloaking itself in a cloud. Kind of like how the movie in Nope. Because if you notice, when they showed the UFO, nothing, you know what I'm saying? The technology was just fine, but when it was cloaking itself, all technology shut down. It's the same process.
Family, ladies and gentlemen, we got a rising star within this conscious or woke or whatever you want to call the folks that's on YouTube. Brother BDell, I want to thank you, man. You did a phenomenal job tonight, my brother. I mean, absolutely phenomenal. I want to thank you for coming on. Leave the people with your information before you get out of here. Everybody's going to want to know how to contact you, my brother.
Okay. My YouTube channel is D as in dog, ELL 1014. B D as in dog, ELL 1014. It's the same as the nomenclature title at the bottom, BDell 1014. You can find me on Instagram at BDell 1014. Twitter, BDell 1014. It's the same thing.
Indeed. With that being said, hey BDell, I look forward to having you on again, probably within the next month, my brother. And thank you to everybody for tuning in. Like I said, I gotta go. I got a show with Phil on Patreon in about an hour. So I'm gonna just relax, get ready for that show in the meantime. But listen, we'll see you next time. Thank you, BDell. Peace, family.
Peace, brother. Thank you.
All right.